For this practice, we're going to engage in a body scan. You may want to start by finding a place that feels best for you to rest in. That could be lying down with your legs out, with your knees up. That could even be seated. Taking a few minutes to maybe adjust and find a place that feels best for you to stay in. We'll be here for around a few minutes. If you do feel like moving at any point, you always have the option to move into something that feels more accessible and useful for your body. And when you find a spot you might want to start in, maybe start by grounding yourself in this place. If you're on the mat or on the floor, you might notice how this might feel. If you're seated or lying down, you might notice the sensation that is there as well. Maybe noticing what parts of your body might be making contact with the ground. If you're in a seated form, that might be your sit bones or maybe your hands if they're down there, touching the ground. If your legs are out in front of you, that might mean your legs as well. And if you're lying down, this might involve your legs, maybe your hands, maybe the soles of your feet depending on how you're lying down. Maybe taking a moment to notice any sounds you might hear in this moment. And then we might start by wiggling out our toes and noticing any sensation that we might be experiencing in our feet. From there, we might move up to our ankles, all the way up to our legs, and noticing if there are any sensations that we might be experiencing there. Maybe taking a moment to appreciate all the work our legs do for us in terms of helping us move around. Possibly noticing our breath if that's accessible. As you breathe in and out, you might notice maybe your shoulders are moving. Maybe your torso is also raising up and down. Maybe you're noticing movement in your nose when you're breathing in and breathing out. Maybe bringing the attention to our shoulders. That might possibly be rolling our shoulders back if that's something that's useful, and then finding a place to have them rest. You can notice how your arms might be feeling, maybe moving down our shoulders, our elbows, the tips of our fingers, giving our fingers a little bit of a wiggle as well, shaking them out. And then you might bring your attention to your neck, and you can possibly move your neck side to side, almost like you're saying no, if that's useful. If you feel like rolling your neck in a semicircle is useful for you, you might also do that in this moment as well, seeing if there are any sensations that you might be able to notice here. You might explore what it might feel like to notice anything that might be going on or any sensations that you might be experiencing in your face. That might be maybe there's a tickle, or you feel like you might need to sneeze. Maybe noticing if your jaw is clenched and possibly taking a breath in or breathing out through your mouth to create a bit of space. You might also notice what the temperature is like as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Maybe noticing if the temperature changes. Is it warmer when you breathe in, or is it cooler when you breathe out? And when you breathe out, does it stay warmer or does it stay cooler? Or maybe it doesn't change at all. Possibly noticing if you're being distracted by different thoughts that are happening in your mind, which is also a normal part of the process. At any time that you feel you're being distracted, maybe seeing if you can bring yourself back to the present moment. That could be grounding yourself by maybe pushing your hands into the mat, or noticing the texture of the ground or the mat. That could be noticing your breath, if that's also something that may be useful for you. We might orient ourselves back into the room. You may create a little bit of movement in your body, which could be wiggling out your toes or your fingers out again. Maybe slowly moving side to side. If you're lying down, you might roll over to your side as well, and then making your way into a seated form. We might bring our attention to any sounds that we can hear. And maybe noticing any 5 things that we can see in the space around us. We might take a breath in, and you can take a breath out.